Hello and welcome. It's
Hi.
another Ask Jess. I've had advance warning. I know what the question is. It's a one simple question one today.
Yep.
And I've done some pre-preparation. So
Like
go on then.
Blue
What was the
Peter.
question?
It's like Blue Peter.
It is a little bit. I've got another. It's not going to be slick today. This is a piece of paper blue tacked to the wall. So it's not going to be slick. I've got another piece of paper over there to bring. So anyway, jump in. Ask the question.
Question is this: how do you make money in a property recession?
So, it's been asked, that question, if you look through some of the comments in YouTube. By the way, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for commenting. Subscribe and click that notification bell now for all this good stuff. Keep it coming. We really appreciate it, and hopefully we're giving you some good feedback. We know actually we're getting some really nice comments. So actually, I'm confident in saying we are definitely giving some value here. So I'm happy with that. But this question's been asked in a couple of different ways by dozens of people in the comments, and specifically a couple of people said how are you going to do this? How? We've explained it 3 or 4 different ways over the last years if you look back through the videos, but there's some things that just if we have a video that goes on for 20 minutes and we talk about 7 or 8 different topics, it's buried away in there. What I'm going to do now is point out, and I'm going to do it on 2 properties. This property I've got behind me it's a real property. We bought, where was this? This was Midland somewhere, or North, Yorkshire-ish. And that one over there is Northwest. Okay, fine. So these are real properties bought in the last year, 6 months,
A few months.
Okay, and the answer is how do you make property profits in a recession? We're going to go back through a couple of other points that we made in the previous videos. Don't panic. Don't overestimate or overemphasize. Sorry, don't overemphasize the changes in interest rates. It hasn't made that much of a difference. Rents have gone up, and even though interest rates have gone up quite a bit, products on mortgages haven't gone up that much. They've probably gone up a little bit more than they're going to in the future. They're coming back down already. So don't overemphasize that. Don't be weighted, be overly biased by the London weighting. There's a very big property market not in London. Some of the comments that we get are very definitely London based. It's like, we're not buying those kind of properties. We're buying here. And it doesn't have to be all north. Some of them can be south. We're looking in other areas, Southampton, Portsmouth, a bit further around, Wales. We're looking at, it's not just everything's north, it's just not near London. So all those things aside,
Don't be skewed by the mainstream media that focused all their big headlines on really what's happening in London and the south, and they call that the property market.
Correct. Yeah. Look, we've got a lot of videos. I didn't want to come into 100 different little points. I just want to make one big point. How do you make profits in a property recession? So here's a property. What we've got here is, and Adam says, so Adam deals with clients, sells houses out, allocates houses. You can sell a house or buy a house with 4 numbers on a post-it note. You don't know pictures and all those things. Of course, you get more and there's more, but they are your 4 numbers. So this is purchase price, what we're paying for the property.
That says 76,000. If you can't read it,
You
can't tell from
my handwriting is horrific.
It's too small. No,
Yeah.
It might just be the camera's too far.
I think they can see that.
This isn't a Sky studio. So.
No. Well, maybe we'll get one of those one day. Renovation. How much we're going to spend on the property? £18,500 in this case. Don't forget, these are real properties. They can all be different. I'm going to bring 2 out to give you a couple of examples. But we've got nearly 1,000 examples actually. We've done this nearly 1,000 times. So the value. So what we mean by that is, how much will the property be worth in tip-top condition? Also, we bought it cheap and we're spending some money on it. That's quite a substantial renovation. Off the top of my head, that'll be new kitchen, new bathroom, redecoration, probably a rewire or some electrical works, carpets, painting,
some roof works,
maybe a bit of damp work, bit of fixing some roof, those kind of things. So £18,500. But once you've done that work, once you bought it for that price and done that work, it's worth £120,000, and it'll rent out for £625 a month. Now, one of the things that I want to get away from and it's almost. I want to reverse the psychology a little bit, or reverse the thinking, because what I'm noticing people do is concentrate on this number down here, the rent, and how much this property will make per calendar month in rent or cash flow. And then this amount of money here and the difference between what you've spent buying it and renovating it and what it's worth at the end gets either disregarded or forgotten about, or people just say, oh, it's a bonus. It's not a bonus. It's the main point. That is the main point. How do you make profits in a property recession? It's the same way that you always make profits in property, but in a recession, you're going to make ever so slightly more, 5% more, 3, 4, 5% more, because there will be more property opportunity coming through. It's as simple as that. There's just slightly more coming through. You can always do this in any market, but when property prices are a little bit softer, you'll find that this margin, the difference between what you've spent on it and what it's worth, opens up just a little bit more. So what we spent on that? It's 94 grand. 94 grand. The difference there, 26k. I'm going to highlight that.
Don't forget the headline numbers.
Headline numbers.
We know we've not included stamp duty, legal costs. If you're doing this with us, we charge a fee for what we do. We know we've not included them. You know you have to add them on, but this is just headline numbers to prove a point.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, and I was just really keen on, of course, stamp duty, all those other things. There's other costs in there. I'm not saying the right. Maybe so that's 26. My handwriting is absolutely terrible. So the main point of this video is that number in there. It's that. Long term, the main point is actually the fact that is now going to go up in value. And where I want you to start thinking about things slightly differently is, the main point is not the rent, which is, cash flow. Cash flow has been a sort of a calling, a war cry for the last 10 years. At 0.1% interest rates, then of course you're going to make a bit of cash flow. That's come down to a more realistic level now. We always used to say, so sort of 2010, 11, 12, when we were buying houses, for this reason, that the house washes its face. That is allowing you to pay a mortgage on that new higher value and own the house while it goes up in value. And that is the name of the game. You keep that property for 10, 20, 30 years and you're making some money. But the reason how you make property profits in a recession, it's not that. It's not that, because that's the future. That capital growth is the future capital growth. It's that. You've just made, and I put £26,000, as Adam rightly points out, it's not 26 grand. You've got stamp duty, you've got all sorts of things. That'd probably bring that down to high teens, 18, £19,000, let's say. I've just done that number in my head, so it might not be right. That's not the point. The point is, the number in the circle is the point. If that was 10 grand, where else do you save 10 or make £10,000 on the day you buy something? I think actually, let me just spend it's about £18,000. I'm just in a slightly better, less pressured number. Yeah, 18 grand. Where can you save £18,000? And that deal took between the day we bought it to the day it was rented out 3 months. That's a 3 month.
Yeah, I look at it as
so. Well, you can say, let's say it's 6 months.
Your end value here is after the renovation, so you've created equity by doing the works. And I would say, look at how much money. You made 15 grand by the time it's been renovated. 5 grand a month for each month while we renovated a house for you.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. If you did that entire thing in cash, so you put 94, let's call it £100,000 with stamp duty and all those other fees, put 100 grand into it, and in 6 months you managed to make £20,000. That's 20%. It's actually 40%, isn't it? Because you did it in 6 months. If you want to annualise that, then that's a 40% return. Where else do you get that? It's just ridiculous. Should we do another one? I've got another one over there. I'll pull it over. That's one. This was a slightly more expensive one. We picked different, and just while we're trying to illustrate this point for you. Is that all right? Is that in? Job good. £120,000 purchase price. Spent 28, nearly 29 grand on it, 28 and a half. That's £28,437. We're very, very exact on that one. And it's worth £195,000 when it's done. It'll rent out for £795 a month. Again, it's a real deal. Sticking those two things together, that's what? 148 grand all in. and therefore the difference between 148 and 95 is about £46,000. So that's the main point in the circle, and it's not 46 grand because you've got stamp duty and you got, but I'm trying to keep it dead simple. Take stamp duty off, fees off, all those things. That's going to come down to probably 40, isn't it? But let's keep it simple. The main point is that this rent will then pay a mortgage on this higher amount, so that you get to do that in 4, 5, 6 months. You made £46,000, and then that value goes up over the next 10 years, paid for by that mortgage, by that rent. The mortgage is paid for by that rent. That's the main point. That's how you make property profits in a recession. You buy houses, you keep going, you keep buying, you keep buying, you keep buying. It's when you buy that you make your gain. A couple of other points I just thought of. The slightly more expensive house, just as much effort to buy this house as this house that's on the floor. This house has made more cash. You can see that. That might be a really good reason to do that. We needed more cash for this one. That was all together, everything in. That's the best part of 160,000 pounds in cash all in. But you made some really good returns. Something that it also sounds strange is probably not quite evident on this. This value, when we say value, what it's worth when it's all done and dusted, the value, the end value, as a RIC surveyor will come around and say this is what the thing's worth. That's more stable. At that end, over 150 grand, you're going to get a more reliable. You place a bet on what the surveyor's going to come back at these. Lots of owner-occupiers in the area, lots of comparables. They're all mortgageable. When you get to the stuff that's on the floor over here, the cheaper stuff, under £75,000, your comparable, we call them a firecracker, because you don't know quite when the comparables are going to come good. Sometimes straight away.
Comps might be houses that were bought for 70 grand too, because they were all knackered on that particular area.
Yeah.
And then in 6 months, a year, some people have bought a house and flipped it, and therefore then, bang, suddenly there's a comparable for 110, 20, what have you. Whereas this, is a bit more secure on the end value, but less cash flow actually. You've got a high mortgage payment, so you get sort of a lower yield, if you like, more instant equity created. One point I'd say is, over the next year, maybe less than that, next few months even, this price, the renovation cost, is going to start coming down. Because that, again, is how you make profit in a recession. Over the last 2 or 3 years, people have been going crazy, making home improvements, especially since COVID, and now builders are starting to call us. I've had leaflets through my door. Nice. They've been going around the area. These guys are actively looking to give free, no obligation quotes again.
That never is.
That tells you everything you need to know.
Just anecdotally, I was in the pub this was last Friday night. There was probably 20 or so tradespeople in the pub. Speaking to one particular chap who runs trades on sites. They're starting to lay people off. Bricklayers first. That gives you that, and there's sites that were penciled in to start, now not starting, or sites that are phased and that phase isn't starting now, or sites that are being cancelled. Jobs that are coming to the end and no new job for people to go on. It's already starting. It must have been like that for the last 2 or 3 months for people to start being laid off now. So you're absolutely right. I think that number's going to start coming down. There'll be other things going through your mind. Go look at some of the other videos. What happens if prices come down? Don't worry about it. Buy the right house in the right area. You're not going to be massively affected by that. We think that the kind of houses that we buy, because these are the one that we've got down here on the floor and this one here, one's twice as expensive as the other, a bit more actually. But actually, they're in a very small band when you look at all the houses that are available in the UK. They're really well insulated, and there's lots of good reasons that these houses aren't going to decline by 10%, 15%. They might even start, stay level, go up a bit. They might go down a tiny bit. I'm not going to go down £46,000. So,
the way you make money in a property recession is the way we've always done property anyway.
Well, that's
buy
the point.
cheap. And add value. Do the work yourself. Don't buy a new build flat. Ever. No. Especially not in a property recession.
So there you go. If anybody's interested in seeing any more of these examples. We call them case studies, and actually
I provide a lot more data than just that as well, by the way.
a lot more data, a bit of a deal stacker that you call it.
A proper
There's one of those.
spreadsheet, outlining all the numbers.
Yeah. So where I've just saying, oh, I haven't included this, and put a little scribble here, it's all put down in a spreadsheet. Book onto a discovery call. That's the next step. If you're starting to think, oh, maybe you can make some property profits in a recession. Tell me more if you want more detail. Because this is, instead of just this scrappy little piece of paper that I'll put up on the blackboard wall. Book on a discovery call and we can chat it through.
You sat on the fence. Time to get off it.
Time to get off it. There's lots of money to be made. Right. Okay. That was it. Just one question today.
15 minutes.
We've done and dusted in 16 minutes, and the last one last week was 20 minutes. So,
Bro.
Have a nice week, everybody, and we'll maybe see some of you on a discovery call. Bye for now.
Cheers.
Right then.
You have to duck.
Maybe all right. let's stand there like that.
All right.
Okay. Right then.
Go on then.
Oh,
So slick, man.
I'm going to chop that bit out.
Yeah.
So,